Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first of 6 networking events for class for 2022. I'm Scott Olson, and I am currently a co-president. We've got John Slade from MICA, who has stepped up to act as co-president role this year with me. So I'm happy to have John aboard. We have some other class members. Why don't one by one you just quickly introduce yourself as a class board member, if you could, please. Kate?
Hi, I'm Kate Gable. I wear a couple hats. So first is secretary for class, take that one off. I also do freelance work as KG Freelance, and I also have my own business, Kate's Musical Memories, where I provide music programming in the Northeast Metro.
Thanks, Kate. Michelle is a new member. Michelle has stepped up to be our treasurer this year. So welcome, Michelle.
Thank you. I also work for White Bear Lake Community Services, and I am housed in the Senior Center.
Excellent. And let's see here. In terms of board members, I think that is it, but we have Katie. Where's Katie? There's Katie, yes. Katie is a liaison for us, so go ahead, Katie.
Scott, I'm officially on the board this year, so I can
that's right.
move things along.
Shame on me.
Oh, you're fine. I'm the recreation supervisor with the City of Venice Heights, and Allie is a new member with us as well.
Yes. And go ahead, Allie.
I am Allie Lucan. I am the recreation coordinator for the City of New Brighton, and I oversee all of our adult and senior programming and some of our youth programming.
Very good. So we have good representation here. We will get everyone a chance to introduce and talk about themselves and their businesses later on today, but we've got a new format this year and we're pretty excited about it. For all of our 6 bi-monthly class networking events, we will be inviting speakers in for the first 10 minutes that will have some topics relevant to class and how it may enhance some of our service providers and what they do on a day-to-day basis. And I'm excited to have our first one today, Amanda Biggis with Trellis. We'll get her introduced in just a second. But just a quick little housekeeping. We'll have our 6 events each year, every other month, starting in January. We will also have 4 different lunch and learns, and those will get posted on our website as well, where we will have the lunch and learn will be more of a speaker on a very bigger topic related to class, kind of part of our 4 pillars of age-friendly, affordable housing, transportation, and dementia. And if we have something else that comes up with a really dedicated speaker that falls a little bit outside of those pillars, we're okay with that. And so right now we've got several months set up for our 10-minute speaker for our networking events. And we also have a couple of first 2, I believe, for our lunch and learns. So if you do have interest or know of somebody, please have them contact us. We don't want to fill the whole calendar right away. We're looking to fill maybe the first half of the year, and then from there we will get the rest filled. So we're excited about that. We're trying to add a little bit of pizzazz, if you will, and a little later on we're going to have Kate talk about what we're doing with updates to our website as well. So with that in mind, we want to get going with our speaker here because I know we have a few people that are leaving, but we're so happy to have Amanda Biggis with us today. She's a community outreach specialist for Trellis with 10 years of experience working in aging services, and in her role with Trellis and the Senior Linkage Line, Amanda connects organizations to resources to support an aging population and provides free community presentations on topics such as Medicare, healthcare fraud. Amanda is also a member of the National Age in Place Council and is committed to assisting and empowering individuals to live healthy and fulfilling lives as they age. So good morning again, Amanda, and welcome to the first of many class networking events. The stage is yours.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for having me this morning. I'm excited to kick off the first meeting of the year. As Scott said, my name is Amanda. I'm a community outreach specialist. I represent the outreach side of things at Trellis. I know we have Diane here as well, who's part of Trellis. And then my colleague Abdi sometimes attends these meetings. We kind of switch off, so you might recognize him as well. But today I'm going to talk a little bit about Trellis and then a little bit about Senior Linkage Line as well. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, you should all be seeing my PowerPoint here. In a second, there we go.
Yep, and we do.
Okay, perfect, thank you. All right, so Trellis is the area agency on aging for the 7-county metro area. You might recognize Metropolitan Area Agency on Aging. We changed our name within the last year. We just wanted to reflect the change that we've seen over the past 25 plus years as an organization, and Trellis is a lot easier to say than Metropolitan Area Agency on Aging. So that's been a nice change. We are federally designated under the Older Americans Act, and in the state of Minnesota, we are 1 out of 7 area agencies on aging. We are a nonprofit organization that provides services, information, and connections that help people age well. And we work to offer and create new products, services, and relationships to meet the changing needs of a growing population of older adults. And we are also committed to serving our aging communities with equity and inclusion. Here at Trellis, our mission is to assist individuals to age well and to develop the capacity of communities to care for an aging population. We support this mission by providing services, information, and innovations to help people optimize their well-being as they age. So a little bit about what we do. Trellis brings people and organizations together in community-wide efforts. We do this by connecting people with services and resources. We fund community organizations that provide services to older adults through our Title III funding. And we bring networks together for collaborative action through our evidence-based wellness programs, Juniper, and outreach efforts. We lead the change to connect healthcare and social care in an ever-changing world. I have a little graphic here. I want to show this little pie chart. So according to the 2019 Profile of Older Americans by the U.S. Administration of Aging, there are about 890,000 older adults 65 and older in the state of Minnesota. In the metro area, there's about 72% of that population, so about 642,000 older adults 65 and older. And within that sum, there's 11.2% that are recorded as either Native American or from a minority group. You can see from the pie chart that Ramsey and Hennepin counties take the lead in Native and minority percentages, which isn't quite a big surprise, seeing that these 2 cities are home to some of the largest ethnic minority groups, such as Hmong, Karen, and Somali. One of our goals within the outreach team is to make sure that we are reaching underserved groups with our resources and information, whether that be communities of color, areas of poverty, or rural counties. So that pie chart is just a reminder of how important the work that we do at Trellis and the work that you all do for seniors is in our community is. As we move forward into the near future, the number of older adults is just going to increase. So these aging services is just so important. And it's putting a strain on aging resources as well. So there's a lot of work to be done for older adults. And we feel it's crucial to bridge that gap between health and social care services. At Trellis, we are partnering with healthcare organizations to fund services for our growing adult population. We're using a network approach that puts community-based organizations at the center. And we are also fostering a person-centered approach to well-being and attending to disparities in health and social risk. Now, with all of these logos here, you may recognize some of these. All of these programs fall under the umbrella of Trellis. I'm going to briefly talk about these and then go into a little bit more detail of Senior Linkage Line, because that's kind of my area of expertise within Trellis. But we do have quite a few programs. First of all, Trellis Pension and Retirement Rights. This program provides free legal counseling to individuals with pension or retirement plan issues. This is not just in Minnesota. We cover 6 states, so Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. We also have a program called Juniper. We've created a statewide network of providers that offer evidence-based classes to older adults by partnering with healthcare companies. So these are free and low-cost classes that are based on research to help people learn how to manage their health, increase their physical activity, and receive support. If anybody's interested in these types of classes, we do provide, we have trainers or people who lead the classes through Juniper, and we would be more than happy to help you get that set up. Some classes that are available would be diabetes prevention program, living well with chronic conditions, powerful tools for caregivers, walk with ease, and a long list of other classes as well. We also have 3 statewide initiatives to support people with memory loss. I think our Act on Alzheimer's coordinator, Jen Rooney, may be part of this group at times as well, so you might recognize that name. But we have Act on Alzheimer's, which is a statewide collaborative that equips communities to support people with Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. Dementia Friends Minnesota. This program really emphasizes that by helping everyone in a community understand what dementia is and how it affects people, each individual can make a difference for people touched by dementia. And then we have the Remember Project, which are one-act plays that are performed by professional actors who bring real issues connected to the care, diagnosis, and experience of dementia to life. Now, I mentioned that I was going to talk a little bit more about Senior Linkage Line. In my role, I work mostly with the Senior Linkage Line, and I try to bring resources, information, and assistance to older adults, caregivers, and families through the Senior Linkage Line. So this is a statewide service of the Minnesota Board on Aging. It's in partnership with Minnesota's area agencies on aging. You can see that phone number there, 800-333-2433. It is available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We can help you by phone, online, or by appointment. We have health insurance counseling appointments. And then we also offer presentations. So myself and the other outreach specialists give presentations such as Medicare 101, annual Medicare update, healthcare fraud, healthcare directives. We're also putting together a new presentation. It's kind of a prepare for retirement presentation. So we're excited about that one that's coming out. But we provide services that are free, neutral, and objective. We don't endorse one service or product over another. We help you make an informed choice. This is just an example of where the Senior Linkage Line contact centers are throughout the state. So as I mentioned, Trellis is one of several area agencies on aging in the state of Minnesota. So these are the contact centers. And then just quickly, you know, a lot of times when we think of the Senior Linkage Line, we think about maybe Medicare, but there's a lot of other areas of expertise that Senior Linkage Line specialists can help with. So transportation, housing, food support, house cleaning or chore services, support programs. And to be clear, Senior Linkage Line does not provide these services. We connect you with the services. We're kind of the bridge between organizations or individuals to these services and resources. Of course, we do help with Medicare as well, especially during open enrollment for Medicare. We get a lot of calls regarding Medicare, so we can help with Medicare eligibility, reviewing plans, helping you make an informed choice on what's best for you. And we can help save a lot of money too with Medicare plans. We have a couple different departments that help with moving from hospital, nursing home, assisted livings, and back home again. We have our pre-admission screening department and our return to community department. We can help with caregiver support as well. So as I mentioned, we're not just for older adults, we're for families, caregivers, anybody who is looking for support. And we can help with prescription needs, prescription applications, and then fraud concerns as well. So if you feel like you've been the victim of fraud, you can call the Senior Linkage line and we will help you figure out the necessary steps to report fraud. And lastly, I just want to show a couple of our print materials. These are materials that you can request at any time. So you can request them through myself or any of our other outreach specialists, or you can call the Senior Linkage line to request these materials. These are good to have on hand to give out to older adults and their families. So we have our Planning Ahead for Your Future. It's a nice booklet that gives some steps on how to prepare for retirement and as you get older. We have the Medicare 101. That's a really basic overview of Medicare. And it's a lot of what we talk about in our Medicare 101 presentation. We have the Senior Linkage line kiosk card. These are really good cards to hand out. It talks about what we can help with, what resources we can provide, and of course has that number on there. And then we have magnets as well, because sometimes it's nice to put a magnet up on your fridge and have that number handy when you need it. So with that, I am going to ask if there's any questions. I'd be happy to answer that. But thank you so much for your time today. And it was a pleasure talking with you all.
Great job, Amanda. Thank you so much. And I think this is these are the perfect kind of presentations where when there's topics that can affect us all in our line of work with the clients that we deal with, I think this is great information to have in front of us. So again, thank you. Any questions for Amanda? The one thing I was also going to point out is Diane Graham-Raff, who is also with Trellis, has posted a couple things in the chat box. So if you want to open that up, there's some different links that I think are important. And we will also send this recording out after we're done. And we'll also have, I think, will these links go to the website, Kate? Not certain.
Yes, they will.
They will. Okay, good.
So this recording will go up and there will be, we'll put meeting minutes in that provide the chat based information. So the links will be available there.
Good. Thank you. And I didn't mention it earlier, but again, this is a class networking event, and class is the consortium of Lake Area Senior Services. So we are a whole bevy of senior service providers, and happy to have you here today. And I would ask everyone, spread the news, spread the word, get them to our website. We would love to have newcomers. When we were meeting live, I think we were up to close to 30 people. 30 plus sometimes, and we'd like to get it back to that. We know that everyone's lives are busy, but we can do this. We can make it happen. And also, if you have interest to become a member of class, we will be pushing through in February our membership drive. For an individual, that'll be $25 a year. That gives you access to, well, not, you would always have access to the different events that we had, whether you are a member or not. But being a member gives you a page on our website, or a spot on our website where you can have mention of your business. You can have links to your business. You can have links to your social media page where it can keep people current with whatever events you've got coming up. We're also going to introduce something new here. We're not ready quite yet to get deep about it, but we are going to have another benefit that would allow you to do a little bit of advertising on a monthly basis about your business on a newsletter. So more details to follow on that when we're ready to discuss. So I know we've got a couple people that have to leave and will probably not make it for our breakout session. So I'm going to do them a favor and kind of go against a little protocol here and give a quick 1 to 2 minutes. I know that who is, just raise your hand, who has to leave? I know Diane does, and Allie does, and Michelle, I believe, and Ann. Okay, so, oh, and I see
And
Dawn.
Dawn.
So we may not have much for a breakout session once we're done here, and that's okay. But let's do that before these individuals have to leave. Diane, I'll start with you if you want to have a quick 1 to 2 minute about yourself and what goes on with your world.
Just really quick, I put in the chat a link for a free training next Wednesday. It's Grant Writing 101. It's geared towards people who either don't write a lot of grant proposals or are new to it completely. We walk through the basics of planning your application. Yeah, that's an important thing to start planning it before you write it. The writing it, being complete, submitting, making sure that you have everything in order, that sort of stuff. It's a really quick hour and a half. If it were in person, we'd probably do like 4 hours and have you work on things, but we send you home with homework and links to all kinds of things. So whether it's you or somebody in your organization, maybe an emerging leader that you'd like to give them a step into grant writing, please take a look at it. It says it's only for aging services providers, and that's very broad. That's anybody who touches aging, and that's capacity, because if we had it for the general public, our sessions would already be full and we wouldn't have enough space for you. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Dawn.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm with Safe Harbor Estate Law, and we empower families to protect what's most important to them. We create legal plans to protect people's assets and their loved ones, saving money and hassle in the process. We really believe in hoping for the best, but planning for the worst, so that families can have peace of mind. We start with a confidential and complimentary, what we call life and legacy session, to learn about people's unique situation, what their goals are, help them become educated and empowered, then with some options for them so they can make the best decisions for themselves and their family. Really, our ideal clients most of the time are people that, well, need an estate plan, but typically folks that are approaching retirement or looking at financial planning. Estate planning becomes part of that a lot of times. Sometimes families that are looking at a family member that are might be needing some additional cares, seeing medical assistance down the road, maybe spouses that have had a recent diagnosis and looking at maybe long-term care or moving to assisted living, children that are helping their parents protect assets and eventually applying for medical assistance. So we welcome anybody we can help. We just really want to help seniors.
Thank you, Dawn. Okay, let's see. Anne, I think you mentioned you have to head out.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anne Morehouse, and I have two businesses, actually. One is my own, that's Minnesota Funeral Planning. I partner with 30 hospices and hospitals throughout the Twin Cities, providing them with a funeral planning resource guide that they in turn give to their patients, hospice patients and families. And then my full-time gig is with Better Place Forests. And if you're not familiar with it, it is an option that is like, rather than having a plot in a cemetery, you can, if you're being cremated, you can have your ashes spread at your very own family tree. It's located in St. Croix Valley. We just opened in June, and it is just, we call it a conservation memorial forest. It's beautiful. And so if anyone ever wants to visit, I'm your gal.
Very interesting, Anne. Thank you so much. Okay, Allie, I think you are also leaving early.
Unfortunately, yes. My name is Allie Lukin. I am the Recreation Coordinator for the City of New Brighton. I oversee all of our senior programs. Right now on tap for us is we've got some new programs coming up. Our biggest one that we are trying to implement with our seniors is our organics recycling program. As a community center and as a city, we are going to the organics recycling side of the world now, I guess you could say. So we are offering several different classes and opportunities for our seniors to learn about it, organic recycling, which is something that a few of them are interested in. Some of them don't quite get it yet, but we're hoping to push that out. So right now, that's kind of the big thing on our plate is trying to just educate them and teach them about the importance of it and preserving our life for those that are behind us and those that are our kiddos that are coming up behind us. So that's about it.
Very good. Thank you, Allie. Michelle. Michelle. Why don't we move, well, waiting for Michelle to come aboard. Georgia, I think you indicated you have to leave early as well.
Yes, around 9:30, I think. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I feel a little bit like the black sheep because I know I kind of disappeared last year. One of my New Year's resolutions this year is to stick with class this year. I've missed you all, recognized so many faces here. And Amanda, thank you for that wonderful presentation. Here at Little Brothers Friends of the Elderly, we are very fortunate to collaborate with Trellis a lot, and you're just such a great organization. So what's kept me away last year, most of last year, was our new Coffee Talk program, which we launched on Groundhog's Day last year. Essentially, it is a call-in, free drop-in line for older adults to call into. It's zero barriers. The only thing the older adults need is the phone number, and we're going statewide with this. And we're getting a lot of folks calling in. It's a warm line. It's not a crisis line. We have older adults who call in, one older adult who calls in every day to share a joke. We have older adults call in just because they want to connect with a warm listening ear. Sometimes they need to vent. Sometimes they have a concern that they want to talk through. Other times it's just to connect with somebody on a day. And we are really getting great feedback from folks. So that's the main thing that we're doing. We also have an Elder Friends phone companion program whereby we match older adults and volunteers in a phone companion-like relationship. But yeah, it's just so cool to see all these faces that I recognize with you guys. So lovely to be back. And thank you so much for having me.
Welcome back, Georgia. Looking forward to seeing you in the future as well. And let's see, Michelle, you have to leave. And I think that was the last of people who had to leave early, if I'm not mistaken.
You need me to introduce? I'm sorry, I'm the only one here at the senior center, so I had to answer the phone.
Yeah, so this is your 1 to 2 minute of fame to talk about what you do.
Oh, okay. Well, I've been with Community Services in White Bear Lake for about 11 years now, I think. I am the adult programmer. So I do all the programming for adults and seniors who are adults and adults with disabilities as well. I'm actually also teaching all the adults with disabilities classes and senior craft classes. So I do get my creative side out a little bit. I also do a lot of the marketing, like I do our Senior Voice newsletter, and I do an online newsletter as well once a month for the seniors, which has been going really well. That is my big claim to fame.
All right. Along with your new treasurer role for class, right?
My new treasurer role.
Yes, exactly. Which we are extremely happy to have you aboard with that. So,
well, let's see. Hopefully that continues.
Oh yeah, you will do just fine. You will do just fine. And let's see. It looks like Lynn is joining us. And there was one. Oh, and Carolyn
Claver.
Yes. So now we're at the point of our networking where we are going to go into some breakout sessions, have just some fun topics here to kind of get 2022 started. with an opportunity for you to be in a small group and just share things rather than having to do it in front of a large group. And we will reconvene in about 20 minutes, getting the groups back. I ask for just be one spokesman out of your group. And I think, let me count here, what do we have? Ann is leaving, Michelle is leaving, Allie is leaving. All right, so White Bear math here. 1, 2, 3, all right, and Dawn is leaving as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 10. So let's go. It will go in 3 breakout groups. One group will have 4. How does that sound? And if I will be joining all 3 of the groups off and on here. So what we've got is, Kate, would you mind posting? Do you have that in front of you, the topics?
Yes, I do.
Just a second. Anne
Yeah.
has raised her hand. Did you have a?
I'm sorry, I can stay for part of it. I just can't stay
Oh,
for
good.
all of it.
Oh, good. Well, what we'll do then, those who have to leave, if you're having to leave by 9, which is a little bit, Michelle, is that you right now?
It's 9:05.
9:30.
Oh, okay. Well, then we may have more. Let's go into 4 groups. And if we fall off, have a few people leaving, we'll be okay then still with that. So I will set up 4 groups here. I will verbalize what the breakout session questions are, but Kate, if you have an opportunity to put it in chat so they can pick that up as well, very good. What things are being asked of you in your business now to adapt to the ever-changing landscape and the resurgence of COVID variants that are causing a change in your business to better serve seniors? That's number 1. Number 2, how have those changes affected you professionally and personally? And we put that in. We want you to be able to just share. We don't have to have this be so technical. Open up and talk about what's going on in your lives if you wish to share that, the pains of what this has caused you and how it's disrupted maybe your business model and just the way you do business. You, as an organization, class is here to help lift and support and listen to what's going on around in our senior service community. So,
And also, Scott, while we're recording this session, the breakouts, I believe, are not recorded. Is that
the
correct?
breakouts are not recorded. Correct.
Okay. So if you want to let something go and you're like, oh, I just don't want anybody else to see it,
Yeah,
the breakouts are safe.
that's a
Safe
great
as well.
point, John. And when we come back as a group, one representative, and please make that clear once you get into your group who your leader is going to be, we'll be able to share what the discussion is. So that part will be recorded, but you can certainly tell your leader what you don't want to have talked about. How's that sound, everyone? We'll see your smiley faces in a moment here. Let me get our breakout rooms going. What do we decide? We're going to go with 4, right? And this is going to be fun. It's going to be automated. I have no idea who is going where. And we will be back if it is 9:08. Let's come back at 9:30. How's that sound? I'll give you a reminder. Here we go. Populating back here. It never comes back in an instant. It's like one by one, we just kind of get the popcorn sprinkles back in of people coming back. So
It's because we choose when to come back, Scott. So
right. I may think I have the power, but that's not the case, Kate. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
It gives us a 1-minute countdown. And so you can
Yes.
either leave session or it will boot you after a minute. So we just kind
There we
of
go.
leisurely wander in.
you got a
Yeah.
minute to walk the plank
Yeah.
Right.
if you want, or you just jump right back in.
And I think as I had gone through the rooms, sorry, I didn't make John make it into your room, John. We ran out of time, but we've had several people who have had to leave. So now it's just down to the last of us hardy individuals here to finish it out. Let's see here. Let's quickly go. We had 4 rooms. If there's a spokesperson, just a quick minute highlight of what you talked about would be great. So John, you were in
Room 1.
1. Do you have a spokesperson?
That would be me.
All right.
So COVID is now a part of the things that we've done because of COVID are now part of our everyday routine. Was one thing that a lot of folks said. It's Zoom meetings are not temporary. They are part of what we're integrating on. So we're never going to have a return back to the way it was. It will be the new way is the way that we've got. People also said that it's hard. It's been a couple of people reported it's harder to make connection. A couple, Lynn said, hey, we've got people that are actually coming to our Zoom forums. And so they're getting new folks. Micah does community organizing and advocacy. And so it's still hard to get kind of the new, face off the street to become involved as well. The people might not have so many new connections, but have gotten really deeper with the connections that they do have. And we did a 1-word report out of how we felt about the session. Hopeful, connected, and camaraderie were some of those responses.
Excellent. Thank you, John. In breakout room 1, thank you. Kate, you were in room 2, I believe. Who was your leader?
How did you know it was me? I was nominated at the last moment. Thank you, Taylor.
Everyone
So-
else took one step back and you stood there. Is that it? Okay.
Kind of, yeah. So I was in the room with Taylor, Katie, and Carolyn, and we were talking about how much this pandemic has caused us all to grieve and go through this experience at many different levels. And sometimes that our wells that used to run very deep in having empathy in our work are just, they're not as deep as we would like them to be. Katie is experiencing challenges of people not coming back because of, their comfort levels. Taylor, they're experiencing challenges of funerals, wide range of everyone is masked, vaccinated, and other people are like, we don't care. And then they're already in the most emotional state that they can be. And Carolyn's experience, both personal and professional, was very touching just because the challenges of her mom passing away and how you still have that be meaningful. And what we were very appreciative of as a group is some of the hardships of the pandemic have brought out some very good things like the technology. It's not a question about Zoom the way it used to be. Taylor was telling how one of the grandchildren of someone who passed away was able to see his grandmother's funeral from, was it the South China Sea? Because he was on active military duty. So some of the things that we've done that have always seemed like a good idea are now happening out of necessity, and we're seeing some of that good. But it's very hard. And so we've all been through an extreme trauma, and how we come out on the other side and get that relief is going to take some time.
Thank you so much, Kate. That's great information, great feedback. And you guys had a great discussion. I was in it for a little bit there, so thank you. Okay, let's see. Amanda, were you in group 3?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yes.
And who was your leader?
I don't know if we really designated a leader. Megan and I are the only ones left out of our group. Yeah. Do you want to say something, Megan?
I think we talked a lot about just adapting to all the changes throughout the last couple of years and how we just continue to adapt. I mean, in senior living, it's constant adapting. There's changing. We're now back to wearing N95 masks. It's like constant. Every week there might be some kind of change and you just have to adapt to it. and doing the best for our residents. And, you know, we're just grateful that our families are able to continue to come in. So we just adapt to the changes and kind of enforce that throughout the communities. But like Michelle was in our group from the White Bear Lake Senior Center, and she talked a lot about like how her programs have continued to stay in person, but then also keeping them virtual. There's, you know, just the safety of people that don't feel comfortable coming back also. So learning how to get people on virtual and teaching them how to go on Zoom. And I think that's going to be an ongoing like lesson that we can keep teaching seniors. Definitely. I see a lot of classes on learning the internet and Zoom classes and how to participate in those. So, Amanda, was there anything else?
No, I think you hit it. I mean, really just adapting and allowing for flexibility. You know, it's yeah. We kind of all had the same themes of, you know, just as things change, we have to change, and you know, we've learned that we're very resilient.
Thank you very much. And Laura, are you the last one standing on a group floor? I'm forgetting.
I may be. Is Georgia gone?
Georgia just left here, so yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything that you would like to share?
We pretty much just talked generally about how things were with each of us. We talked about how people are not necessarily coming back, that they're not necessarily comfortable. And Allie mentioned that she had a person who was so much looking forward to coming to a program, and then the program was canceled. And so it was, you know, it's just been disappointment all the way around. We talked about how we're, Allie and I especially, are the mask police. People can't come into our buildings without wearing a mask, and it's arguing. And I said, pretty much the situation is just draining. So that was pretty much all we talked about.
Yeah, thank you. And I know when I was visiting, Georgia had mentioned there was a TED Talk, and in our chat space here, she's left a link for a TED Talk, and we'll certainly send this out, but she found that it would be uplifting and thought-provoking and an emotional antidote to COVID. So maybe click on that link and see what you can find on that TED Talk. Well, thanks everybody for the breakout sessions. Hopefully they are worth it, and it's making some sense for right now since we're not having any real programming. I know that when I was visiting the rooms, I was maybe on a little bit of a soapbox and mentioned that asking everyone to think about all the different things these last 2 years you've had to sacrifice, and the changes and resources that you've had to put out that were not for means of regular productivity, but change of plans productivity. And that's all frustrating. I know that Taylor had mentioned, think about all the vacations that you have not been able to go on. Maybe the reunions, the different dinners that you would have liked to have done. This is all very, very difficult on people, myself included. It tends to be very negative at times. But then I also mentioned, stop and think about how you were empowered to come up with other solutions, not only for your families, but for your businesses, and how you've had to take a more caring and nurturing role to lift other people up, lift the seniors up that we work with, try to make their lives as best as you can with what we've been given. Those are the positives that I think into 2022 we have to continue to march forward with, and to be able to say we are the leaders in what we do. Yes, we're going to have our down days, but look at what it's caused us to do to try to make our businesses better, this world better, and that's what we have to stick with. And we can come out of this hoping to be better people and better organizations at the end. So how's that for a soapbox?
Sounds like a great introduction to my soapbox. Is that where we're at, Scott?
Yep, and I'm going to pass things off here to John because he's just going to lead us to the end and allow everybody to have a few minutes to talk specifically about their business. And I do apologize. I've got to leave at about 5 to, back to the negative. I have a funeral to go to. So one of the things I was going to mention is that, Kate, let's put out kind of a save the date for all of our upcoming, and maybe we've already done this, I forget, but all of our sessions are networking events through the end of the year. So people can, even without the link, just put it on their calendar so they can maybe save this hour and a half. I'd love to be able to start the room with 30 and end the room with 30. So everybody has a chance to be heard about what they're doing.
All
We
right.
did send that out, but we can send it again. So
Yep.
John, over to you.
All right. Well, so the very first thing, super brief, as there's still 9 of us. MICA is the Metropolitan Interfaith Council on Affordable Housing. We do housing advocacy and organizing around that and have a Northeastern chapter. Our legislative breakfast that we have yearly is on Zoom. It's Friday, January 28th, and I've put the little blurb in the chat. It's got the link. And I believe if you click on that link, it'll take you to the registration for it. Next time I'm going to do this early before half of our room leaves. Yeah, now we've got just a few minutes for the folks that haven't yet talked about what their organizations are to do so. And yeah, MICA is in the Twin Cities metro area, has been around for 30 years. Thank you, Megan. Did you have a second to introduce, or do you got to go? I'm seeing Megan type that she has to run to another meeting.
Oh, I'm still here. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Megan. I'm from Encore Senior Living. I can just tell you, we have 5 locations in Twin Cities, Hugo, Matamidi, Maplewood, Champlin, and then North Branch. So I spend most of my time in Hugo. It's our memory care community. It's lovely. I love it. It's my favorite. I shouldn't say that, but I do. But I did want to mention, for individuals that need assistance, our Maplewood community does take the elderly waiver and the caddy programs from the beginning there. So you don't need to pay, a lot of communities will require a year of private pay or more. At that community, we'll take individuals that are accepted on those programs from the beginning. And I do have openings in memory care and assisted living there. So I just wanted to throw that out to the group. But yeah, things are going good. Just everyday changes that we just adapt to. So, but we're hanging in there. So yeah, that's about it.
I feel very Minnesotan right now. Oh, we're hanging in there. Okay. We're doing it, and we are.
We're doing it. We're getting through it.
Good. Yeah, the last little bit I'd wanted to say, the legislative breakfast this year is focusing on, at the state level, there's a lead-free homes bill. A lot of folks still live in apartments with lead paint, and there's lead poisoning happening all over. Washington County has been talking very seriously about a homeless shelter and has actually set aside $6 million to start their own first adult homeless shelter. Currently, the only shelter options in Ramsey County or Washington County, one's in Hugo, one's in Oakdale, are old church rectories. And in Ramsey County, the county has authorized a new tax, $50 per house, for a housing and redevelopment authority. So there's going to be new money. So we're going to ask everybody from Ramsey County, how are you going to spend that money in your community? And if you are interested in Ramsey County spending that on senior housing, that would be a great place to go and do that. But now let's pass it on. I see Taylor, Laura, and Carolyn, and Katie, and Amanda, and Scott perhaps wanting to check in. Scott, have you checked in enough? Oh, you're on mute.
Sure, and then I go and mute myself. All right, just very quickly, because we have a couple new faces. I also wear the hat of a community transportation coordinator for New Tracks. We are a nonprofit organization located in the Northeast Metro, serving kind of the Northeast Metro. Our primary focus is serving the adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, getting them to and from their day programs, their jobs. So we have a fleet of 55 buses that are out daily doing this. My role is to take those same buses and drivers when we've got some downtime, our evenings and our weekends, and be a very in-depth outreach to serve as other transportation modes for seniors in and around our communities. Right now, I'm working on a very large task of creating 7 new circulator loops that will be running in and around the Ramsey County area. And we currently have 4 that are up and running. So very busy time. We're also in the food distribution end of things for Washington County, serving 3 different food shelves and delivering. I've got 2 to 3 buses out every day of the week delivering food. And so that was something that started happening after COVID hit. So always a moving target for what we do in transportation.
Great. So who would like to speak up next? I see Carolyn and then Taylor.
So I'll quickly announce for Lynn Ammon, if you could email her if you're interested. We have a new partnership with the Faith Community Nurse Network, and this Thursday at 10:30, I believe. Yes, there's a Welcome to Wellness, which will have 6 different people from that partnership that are going to talk about what we're going to be offering this year. So that's really exciting. So please email Lynn. The next thing, if I could take a second to mention, I've worked in dementia the last 17 years, and I am doing a new venture. I was with The Gathering for 16, and now I am leaving caregiver services and moving into programming, and I'm starting an enrichment class. It's 8 weeks each quarter for people that are new in their dementia journey. So people that are early in their diagnosis and still higher functioning, that are looking for a place to socialize. And so we're doing 7 weeks over Zoom and 1 week in the community at a location. Super excited to get this off the ground. And so please, again, let Lynn know if you want to know more. I think you all got a flyer from Lynn on this, but please refer. That's the only way we're going to get this off the ground, because it's going to be who we might know. Thank you.
Great. Taylor?
I'm Taylor from Mueller Memorial, and we are a funeral home that has locations in White Bear Lake and on the east side of St. Paul. And I have 2 things. One of the big things that happened because of COVID, many things have impacted our business because of COVID, but one of them is that already at our White Bear Lake location, it's in the works at our St. Paul location, is we now have a multi-camera live streaming system, which has turned me into a videographer because you wear different hats now, right? But we are able to live stream in a very nice way any services that happen at our White Bear location, which has been huge. And it makes us feel better because we believe so wholeheartedly in the power of coming together when someone dies, and we have for 75 years, and this has just absolutely thrown a wrench in that. So we're doing everything we can to still get people together. So that is, that's one of the biggest changes that has happened for our building. And then I had something else to say, but I've completely forgotten because I got really excited about that. So that's all I've got.
Excellent. Well, that is good. And Katie, Amanda, and Kate, is that what we're at now? Katie, have you?
So we had in the winters, the last few years, except for last year, we do community lunches for seniors. So we had one just yesterday afternoon. I haven't looked at my final tally, but we had somewhere around 50 seniors come out to Venice Heights Commons and they pay us $5. And then we get Donatelli's lunch. And the Pillars from White Bear Lake provided personal cheesecakes, and it was fantastic. And we played a few rounds of bingo, and they only yelled at me a little bit when I called the end numbers when we didn't need them. So yes, yeah. As long as you laugh at yourself, they're okay with it. If you just like lean in, it's fine. But we've got one more of those coming up in February. And yeah, our highlights group is our social group that meets a couple times a month, is meeting. It's yeah, I was kind of telling our small group, it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. They're still a smaller group than they used to be, but the regulars are showing up and they just get together and have coffee and play games for a couple hours on Wednesdays. So otherwise, lots of like recreation stuff going on. We're renting snowshoes out of City Hall if anybody wants some snowshoes. So yeah, there's lots of stuff going on, things to do. But
Excellent, excellent. Kate?
I noticed that group 2 is holding strong, so nicely done, ladies. So I feel like I've already preached my stuff, but what I love about my organization, Kate's Musical Memories, it comes from, I worked for several years in healthcare. You know, when I first did college, I worked in group homes, and where I specialize is memory care. So I've been able to provide quality music programs during the pandemic, both virtually and in person, and just take that knowledge of the industry and elevate it and provide that for multiple facilities. So this year it's really developed into, I've been able to do some choirs and memory care focus and movement. So that's my big joy in Kate's Musical Memories. And then in my freelancing work, what I've really enjoyed is that it's been for a lot of nonprofit organizations such as CLASS. Another member of CLASS, I also do some work for Elder Voice, helping with website design. So it's a nice, if I can't go into a facility, I can still do meaningful work for the care of our elders. And that means a lot to me.
Excellent. So Amanda.
Great. Well, I feel like you heard a lot from me already, so I won't say too much. But I'll just say, you know, if you're ever interested in a presentation, we do have a wide variety of topics, materials. We can get those to you at any time. And we are always looking for new volunteers. So we have a really great group of volunteers who do a wide variety of things for us. So they do presentations, they do health insurance counseling appointments. We have a new volunteer position called volunteer ambassador. So it's somebody who basically is just out in the community spreading the good word of the senior linkage line. We give them materials, they pass out materials in their regular activities that they do on a day-to-day basis. So always looking for volunteers to join us because we couldn't do what we do without volunteers. So that is pretty much all I'll say. And thanks again for the time at the beginning of the meeting to talk about Trellis.
Excellent. That is the end of our regularly scheduled programming for today. I would just like to, you know, I can't shake your hand, but I can say, here's my heart. And if y'all want to feel your heart right there, feel that, you know, that's what we've got, a connection out to all y'all, because it's our heads and our heart and our spirits and our souls and our bodies and all that stuff that keep us chugging and keep us doing this kind of work. We are having a lunch and learn. I'm going to be talking about senior and rental assistance. And we've got Bill Gray from the Minnesota Homeownership Society, who's going to be talking about seniors and homeownership assistance and options as folks have been stressed by the pandemic. And there's some options and resources available for folks on that. And that is February 16th at noonish. And by noonish, I mean noon. And you can also find that out on our website, and we send out information on that. So as I say to my kid, it's hump day, kid. You only got 3 more, or after this, it's only 2 more days of school. So for those of you who have Monday through Fridays, hope it's a good one.
Thank you.
Bye all.
Thanks, everyone.